Hello everyone, my name is Prachi Marathe. From today, I am going to teach you Inorganic Chemistry course CH502. Since Marathe sir has already completed 2 units, so I am going to start from Unit 3rd, Modern Theories of Coordination Compound, Part B. From this chapter, we are going to learn theories which are going to explain the formation of complexes. Today, we will start with valence bond theory. Valence bond theory. It was put forth by Pauling in 1931. This theory suggested that the complex is formed by the use of available bonding orbitals on the central metal atom. Hence, the number of orbitals available for bonding, their size and charge effect determines the coordination number and configuration of the complexes. Thus, this theory mainly concerned with following points. First, electronic structure of the metal atom or ion in its ground state. This point concerned with the number of electrons present in the ground state of the metal atom, or the electrons are whether paired or unpaired. Second, hybridization of available atomic orbitals on central metal ion. The atomic orbitals of central metal ion are hybridized before bonding with the ligands. Third, types of bonding. Fourth, shapes of complexes or stereochemistry. And fifth, total magnetic properties of the complexes. Assumptions of valence bond theory. First assumption, for the formation of coordinate covalent bond with ligand orbitals, the central metal atom will make available a number of orbitals empty equal to its coordination number. This point simply explain, if you want to fill a glass with water, you need the glass to be emptied first so that you can fill it. Same this way, here the central metal atom will have to make space for the ligand electrons. This empty orbitals will be formed either by formation of cation or by pairing of electrons. The appropriate atomic orbitals of metal atom or ion hybridize to form an equal number of new orbitals of equivalent energy and definite geometry called hybrid orbitals. Appropriate atomic orbitals of metal atom or ion are first hybridized to form equal orbitals or in geometry and in energy also, so that they can form bond with the ligands. For example, one s orbital will be hybridized with the 2p orbital, then it will give sp2 orbitals to form bond with the ligands. This way all the 3 orbitals s and 2p orbitals will have the same energy and definite geometry to form bond with ligands. Each ligand possesses at least one sigma orbital containing a lone pair of electrons. To form bond with a metal atom, each ligand should possess one sigma orbital containing a lone pair of electron. Each ligand should possess lone pair of electron is must for forming bond with the metal atom. A coordinate covalent bond. The vacant hybrid orbital of metal atom overlaps with the filled orbitals of ligand to form a coordinate covalent bond. This bond has considerable amount of polarity due to its mode of formation. The vacant orbital of metal will overlap with the filled orbital of ligand containing the lone pair of electrons, and this way the coordinate bond or a sigma bond will form between the metal and ligand. In addition to sigma bond, there is also a possibility of formation of a pi bond. With the sigma bond, this metal and ligand could also form pi bond, and this is only possible when the filled d orbitals of metal atom can overlap the empty orbital of ligand. Here the matter is reversed. Here the filled orbital is of metal atom and the empty orbital are of ligand. First, while we were learning the sigma bond formation, the filled orbital was of ligand and empty orbital was of metal. This is known as the back bonding. Pi bond formation is called as back bonding. Okay. When there is a maximum overlapping of atomic orbitals, then strongest is the covalent bond formation. Whenever the overlapping between the atomic orbitals of metal and the atomic orbital of ligand is maximum, the bond form will be more stronger. Thus, the valence bond theory gives fairly good explanation about the shapes, nature of bonding, magnetic properties of the complexes. There are two types of ligand generally used in forming complexes. First is the strong filled ligand, which causes pairing of electrons in the metal. So, here are a few examples: cyanide, NH3 and CO, etc. And weak filled ligand doesn't leads to pairing of electrons. Weak filled ligand doesn't cause pairing of electrons in the metal ion, and example is chlorine and fluorine, etc. We will learn this further while doing the examples. Looking after this chart, it explains how the geometry of the complexes depends upon the hybridization and coordination number of the complexes. So, for coordination number 4, there are two types of geometries possible: tetrahedral and square planar. So, let's see what kind of hybridization is required for tetrahedral geometry. So, coordination number 4, type of hybridization. sp3 gives geometry tetrahedral, and this sp3 uses the atomic orbitals of metal, s orbital, px, py, pz, and NiCl4 2 plus and NiCO4 are the two examples of, there are many more, here given two examples. Okay. Second hybridization, which shows tetrahedral geometry, is sd3. It uses this orbital, atomic orbitals of metal, s dxy, dxyz, dxz. CuCN4 2 3 minus, MnCl4 2 minus are the examples of sd3 hybridization. Another, for coordination number 4, we are having square planar geometry. So first hybridization is dsp2. It uses these orbitals, dx square minus y square, s orbital, px orbital and py orbital. NiCN4 2, PtCl4 2 are the examples of dsp2 hybridization. Secondly, d2 p2. It uses the following atomic orbital: dx square minus y square, dz square, px, py, CuNH3 2 plus and PtNH3 2 plus. For coordination number 6, we are having geometry octahedral with the hybridization d2sp3 or sp3d2. It uses these atomic orbitals of metal, dx square minus y square, dz square, s, px, py, pz. CuNH3 6 plus 3, CuCN6 3, etc. are the examples of octahedral geometry. The complexes which do not contain unpaired electron is called as diamagnetic. The complexes which are not having any kind of unpaired electrons, it means all the electrons are paired, is called as diamagnetic, and these complexes are repelled by the magnetic field. While the complexes having one or more unpaired electrons is called paramagnetic, and these complexes are attracted by the magnetic field. If the magnetic behavior of complex is known, it is possible to predict the number of unpaired electrons, the type of hybridization, and hence the geometry of the complexes. from the magnetic behavior, if we come to know about the magnetic behavior of the complex, whether it is paramagnetic or diamagnetic, we could predict the number of unpaired electrons and type of hybridization of, and also the geometry of the complexes. On the other hand, if the and vice versa, if geometry of the complex is known, then we can know about the magnetic property of the complex and the number of unpaired electrons present in the metal ion of the complex. The magnetic moment mu, denoted by this sign mu, of the complex containing n number of unpaired electrons is calculated by using this spin only formula. Magnetic moment of complexes is calculated by using this formula called as spin only formula. Here mu is equal to under root of n bracket n plus 2 bracket completed Bohr magneton. Bohr magneton is this unit of magnetic moment, and n is the number of unpaired electrons present in the complexes. So let's see this chart. Here number of unpaired electrons is equal to 1, then the magnetic moment is also 0. Sorry. Okay. The number of unpaired electrons is 0 and the magnetic moment of Bohr magneton is also 0. When the number of unpaired electron is 1, the magnetic moment is 1.73. When the number of unpaired electrons is 2, the magnetic moment is 2.83. Number of unpaired electron is 3, the magnetic moment is 3.87. And when the number of unpaired electrons is 4, the magnetic moment is 4.90. And for a number of unpaired electrons is equal to 5, the magnetic moment is 5.92. So from this chart, we can found a trick to keep this in mind. We don't need to calculate the magnetic moment using that spin only formula every time. We can use this as a trick. Look at here. 0 unpaired electron, 0 magnetic moment. 1 unpaired electron, then 1.73. Just remember this 1. Okay, 1.73. 2 unpaired electron, then here it is 2.83. So just keep the same number over here and increase these points. Okay, from 73 to 92. This goes rising. Okay, so just keep in the mind. You don't need to calculate every time the magnetic moment using that spin only formula. So before looking after the examples, I just want to explain a point. For 3D transition series, okay, here this is the 3D transition series. Scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, ferrous, cobalt, nickel, copper and zinc. Okay, so I hope you all have learned this. It's really very important. You should learn this, and to keep in mind this valence electronic configuration, I'll show you how to keep it in mind. Atomic number. Okay, here I'm showing the atomic number. Here it starts from scandium to zinc from 21 to 30. Okay, 21, 22, 23, 24 to 30. Similarly, valence electron configuration. I hope all of you know valence electronic configuration. Valence electronic configuration is the outermost configuration of the metal. Okay, the outermost number of electrons filled in the orbital of atom. So the outermost configuration here is 4s2 3d1. Look at this. 4s2 and 3d is constant for all the atoms of 3d series, and what's changing is this 2 1 2 2. Okay, so just look at the atomic number and valence electronic configuration. Here 2 1 21, here 4s2 3d1, here atomic number 22, here 4s2 3d2. Okay, similarly for the whole series, just keep in mind for a change, there are two exceptions here, chromium and copper. Here the configuration of chromium is 4s1 and 3d5. The one electron from 4s has jumped into 3d orbital. This is due to form half filled orbital. Okay, so 4s1 3d5, same case for the copper, 4s1 and 3d10. Okay, so let's go to the example. And one more thing, similar way you can find the outer electronic configuration for the atom elements below the scandium titanium, this series. Okay, I mean for 4d series, 5d series, because only these numbers will change. 4s and 3d will become 5s and 4d. Otherwise, this 2 and 1 will remain constant. For example, the atom element below scandium is yttrium. So yttrium is having valence electronic configuration 5s2 and 4d1. Okay, just keep it in mind. It will really help you. And please learn the that series d block elements. Okay, so first of all we are going to start with the example of coordination number 4. First example is a square planar complex. Example, tetracyanonickelate second ion, NiCN4 2 minus. The electronic configuration of nickel atom is, atomic number of electronic nickel is 28. So electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4d8, 4s2. No need of keeping in mind whole of this configuration. You just need outer electronic configuration, which is this 3d8 and 4s2, which we have learned how to keep it in mind. Okay, 3d8 and 4s2. So while forming Ni plus 2, it will lose 2 of its electrons. So this 4s2 will become 4s0. Ni plus 2 will have this outer electronic configuration 3d8 and 4s0. Let me show you how this Ni plus 2 comes. Okay, it is not this 2 minus charge. How to find the charge on the metal ion? Okay, NiCN4 2 minus. The oxidation number of Cn is -1. You should learn the oxidation number of few of the ligands to make it easy for you. So here oxidation number of cyanide ion is -1. So the charge on the metal ion is equal to overall charge, which is -2 here. Overall charge -2 minus coordination number. Coordination number means the number of ligands forming complex with the metal ion. Okay, so here the coordination number is 4. 4 into oxidation number of the ligand. Oxidation number of the ligand is -1 here. So by calculating all of this, we will get +2. So hence Ni plus 2. So back to the example. So Ni plus 2 has d8 electrons. As s orbital has lost its 2 electron, it is having outer electronic configuration d8 now. So there are 8 electrons in a d orbital. When 4Cn ion approach to Ni plus 2 ion, pairing of electron takes place in such a way that all the 8 electrons in 3d orbital are paired. We have already seen that Cn, cyanide ion, is a strong ligand, and strong ligand causes the pairing of electrons. So here Ni plus 2 ion having this electronic configuration where 2 electrons are unpaired, 4s orbital is emptied, and this outer 4p orbital is also empty. Okay, in ground state. While in excited state, Ni plus 2 ion, the these two electrons will get paired due to approach of ligands. Okay, so these 2 electrons are paired now. So this way we got one d orbital which is empty, 4s orbital is empty, and this 4p orbitals are empty. So here we are having 4 ligands forming bond with the nickel. Each ligand will donate a pair of electrons. So 4 into 2, there will be 8 electrons which will be donated by the ligand to the metal. So these electrons will will be filled into these orbitals shown in the dotted arrows. 2 electrons in the one of 3D orbital, 2 electrons in 4s orbital, and 2 electron in this p orbitals. So 1 d orbital, 1 s orbital, and this 2 p orbital. Therefore dsp2 hybridization of NiCN4 2 minus. Okay. And here all the electrons, here we are showing all the electrons are paired. So it is a diamagnetic complex. There are a few other examples given for square planar complex: PtCl4 2 minus, PtCl4 2 minus, NiNH3 2 plus, CuCH4 2 minus, CuNH3 2 plus, etc. And the square planar geometry is shown like this, where this central atom is a metal atom and these are the 4 ligands. Okay, thus the square planar geometry is looks like. So for today it's end here. So we will see next time, next topic. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.